Kesari Vedantacharyavaryo me Sannidhattam Sadarhi Srirange Setinduna Karaniya Sasyaditi Prekshitam Kyadashina Sammakarjamani Padam Bhujendiram Dhanti Chanti Dayadipi Subhagunay Bhantam Buddha Kresaram Srimat Rangashadarayogini Pradim Shreyo Nadam Samshriye Srimat Sriranga Prithvishwara Sharibana Samyamendra Nadishtam Nistat Manam Narsamme Narasarjati Yogine Prasadad Prak Srirangagari Prabhava Yedi Padehe Prapta Lakshmi Narsamasthanam Seve Tindram Sagalahundim Vira Rakvichararim Sriranganada Shadagopetinda Drashtam Lakshmi Narsamma Sharajit Karnaika Patram Sriranga Vira Ragurachago Paratyam Vedanta Desiketindra Maham Prapatye Srimat Ranga Shatari Samyamura Labda Gavam Datvayam Srimat Vira Ragutvaha Tyajarajit Padaravindashrim Srimat Vedavatam Satesikede Karunya Vichaspadam Seve Rangaturina Sastramasham Narayanam Yoginam Vedanta Desiketindra Katachalapta Trayanta Saramanavati Kunambudagriam Narayanati Turiya Kripa Abhishektam Sri Ranganate Sekaram Ashriyamaha Adiyandasan. So today we are going to see the second part of our ongoing Hayagreeva Stothram. In the first part, we all had a good interactive session where we kind of exchanged what we know about Sri Hayagreeva Avataram and also the other information that we have learned from in our other classes or sessions. So in this session, we will follow a similar approach where for the first 15 minutes or so, we will kind of have an interactive session, and then we will proceed on to see the remaining slogans as much as possible. Okay, so Mama again would request everybody to be unmuted so they can all participate.
They can unmute anytime by themselves.
Yeah, okay. So in the first part, we saw the story, right? Now let's talk a little bit about an interesting aspect that IDA thinks is quite interesting. The similarities between Sri Hayagreevan, Sri Lakshmi Hayagreevan, and also our own Sri Malol. Okay, this is an interesting conversation, but we won't go too much, but at least we will see a little bit about that. And Adian wants to learn from all of you of what you know. And it will be very interesting, I think. So let me adjust my headset a little bit because I'm not getting proper feedback. Okay. Are you all able to hear me now?
Adiyan.
Okay, Adiyan, thank you. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this. Similarities between the two Perumal or Avatarams. Okay, so each one of you, I will call out the name and you can share with me what you know about one similarity between Sri Hayagreevan and Sri Malolam. If you happen to know, if you don't know, that's fine. Adiyan will discuss a little bit on your behalf. Okay. All right. First, Lakshmi Narasimhan Srinivasa. Let's start with Lakshmi Narasimhan Srinivasa. Can you tell me a similarity between Sri Lakshmi Hayagreevan and Sri Lakshmi Narasimhan Malolam?
They're both half animal, half man.
Correct. Very good. That's a very excellent point. So let's talk a little bit about that. Both these Perumals, right, Sri Lakshmi Narasimhan and Sri Lakshmi Hayagreevan, they are half human and half of the form of a animal. So in the case of Sri in Malolan, we all know obviously he is Nrhari. That's why he is Nrsimhan. In the case of Hayagreevan, he has taken the form of Vellai Parimugan, that is horse faced or horse neck, and he has come as Hayagreeva. Okay, let's move on and get one more similarity. Raghav, you are next. Can you share one similarity?
எனக்கு ரெண்டு இருக்கு. They're both Perumal. அதுக்கப்புறம் ரெண்டு பேர் Desikan sang about both of them.
Very good. Absolutely right. Desikan sang about both of them. They are both Perumal. But between themselves, like if you look at the Murti of Sri Hayagreevan, Sri Lakshmi Hayagreevan, and the Murti of Sri Malolan or Lakshmi Narasimhan, what is one similarity you can find?
I got it. ரெண்டு பேருமே Lakshmi, they both have Lakshmi on their lap, and they both are in yoga form.
Correct, absolutely correct. So rendu perum both have Sri Lakshmi on his lap. So Sri Malolan has Tayar Lakshmi, and also Hayagreevan has Sri Lakshmi. So it is a very Divya Mangala Swarupam or Rupam, Divya Mangala Murti. ரெண்டு அவதாரத்தையும் பெருமாள் தாயாரோட இருக்கிறது ரொம்ப விசேஷம். நமக்கு அதுதான் ரொம்ப விசேஷமான ஒரு விஷயம் கூட. அதனால பெருமாள் இருக்கார். ஆனால் just like Raghav mentioned, they both are also in the yogic or yoga posture. So that is also a very interesting similarity. வேற எந்த பெருமாளுக்கும் அந்த மாதிரி கிடையாது அந்த அவதாரத்திலும். ஸோ லக்ஷ்மி ஹயக்ரீவனை யோகா வெறும் ஹயக்ரீவர் அதாவது யோகா போஸ்டர்ல பார்க்கலாம். அதே மாதிரி நிருசிம்மனையும் யோகா போஸ்டர்ல பார்க்கலாம். ஸோ ரெண்டு விக்கிரகமும் இருக்கு. அந்த லக்ஷ்மி வெறும் ஹயக்ரீவன் இன் யோகா பாஸ்டர் தான் வந்து இதுல இருக்கு. எங்க திருவேந்திபுரத்துல அந்த பெருமாள் தான் இருக்கார். நீங்க எல்லாம் திருவேந்திபுரம் பார்த்திருக்காளா? யாராவது போயிருக்காளா திருவேந்திபுரம்? அங்க பார்த்திருக்கியா? அங்க இருக்கு அந்த பெருமாள், அங்க அந்த மூர்த்தி அங்க இருக்கும் திருவேந்திபுரத்துல. So very good point, very nice. So we'll move to Goda. Goda, can you share one similarity?
I'm not sure.
Think. If you think, maybe we will come back again. So I'll let you think for a minute or two while we find out from others if there is any, and then we'll come back to you. Okay, just start thinking. Vishnu and Sarvesh, can you share something if you happen to know? Vishnu and Sarvesh na yaradu?
We're not sure, but we're thinking.
Okay, I'll give you some more time for you. Samrit Srinath.
One similarity is that both of them have their own Stothram sung by Vedanta Desikan regarding their Tiruvadi to Tirumudi.
Right, very good. So that is a good similarity from Swami Desikan's perspective. But between the murtis themselves, do you happen to notice or share any similarity?
Not sure, Mama. Still thinking about it.
Okay. All right. We'll move on. Shriman. உனக்கு தெரியுமா?
I was going to say what Raghav said, but another similarity is that Malolan and Hayagreeva both have a relationship with our acharyas.
Okay, very good. Yes. Okay. When you look at the Murti, if you watch very closely, you will also see one more at least. At the very least, one more. What Raghav shared, it is a kind of an extension to that. Perumal has Tayar and the lap, இல்லையா? ஒரு கை தாயார அணைச்சுன்னு இருக்கு, ஒரு கை இருக்கும். இன்னொரு கை, இன்னொரு திருக்கை எப்படி இருக்கு?
It's like in like palm.
Open.
Yeah, it's open palm, like for like blessing the devotees.
Correct. So both open palm, but there is a small difference இருக்கும் இல்லையா? மாலோலனோட palm எப்படி இருக்கு? Facing up or down?
Up, down.
It's up. It's facing up.
Correct. Malolan palm is facing up. How about Hayagreeva's?
Hayagreeva is also facing up.
Right. So both the palms, when they face up together, abhaya mudran சொல்லுவோம். அந்த மாதிரி யார் சரணம் அடைஞ்சாலும், whoever is surrendering at the Perumal's feet, they are protected by the abhaya hastam of Perumal. So unlike, for example, in Srinivasa இதுல கட்டி ஹஸ்தம், அதுக்கப்புறம் இன்னொரு ஹஸ்தம் பாதத்தை திருவடியை காட்டுற ஹஸ்தம் இருக்கும். ஆனா இங்க ரெண்டு பெருமாளுக்கும் அபய ஹஸ்தம் இருக்கும். சரியா? That is another similarity. Okay, we'll move on to Sudha. Sudha, have you noticed or can you share any similarity? You can actually see when you look at the pictures, Swami Lakshmi Hayagreeva and Lakshmi Nrsimha. திருவடி எப்படி இருக்கு ரெண்டு பேருக்கும்? Sudha, are you listening? Can you share something? If not, we will go to Saumi maybe. Saumi, can you share any similarity?
There is a flower at the bottom of the feet.
How many feet do you see in both the Perumal Murti Vigraham?
One.
Both have their valadu kal, valadu tiruvadi hanging, and then there is a small difference in that Shri Malolan, he has the padukai always. One padukai is there, one padukai won't be there. He is ever ready to serve, rush to the help of his bhaktas, devotees. So he is always ever ready. So Malalan is ready with his padukai all the time. Whereas Lakshmi Hayagreeva, I have seen in some vigrahams with padukai, but usually without padukai da Lakshmi Hayagreeva irupar. So Malalan or a speciality is always with the padukai, especially the Perumal Vigraham at our Ahobilam. Okay, Lakshmi Nrsimhan. Again, we started with Lakshmi Nrsimhan and we are going to end with Lakshmi Nrsimhan. So Lakshmi Nrsimhan, what is your the point? Have you noticed any similarities? Can you share anything? Can you hear me, Lakshmi Nrsimha?
Mama.
உனக்கு ஏதாவது ஐடியா இருக்கா? When you see the vigraham of both the Perumal.
Mama, I'm still thinking.
You're still thinking. Okay. Has anybody else thought of any other similarities you can share?
ஒன்னு மார்பிள தாயா, ரெண்டு பேருமே மார்பிள தாயார் வச்சிருக்கா. அதுவும் அப்பப்போ அந்த பெருமாள் ஆதிசேஷனுக்கு கீழே இருப்பார்.
அது எந்த ரெண்டு பெருமாளுமா ஒரு பெருமாளா?
ரெண்டு பேருமே.
Right. Correct. ஸோ ரெண்டு பெருமாள் கூட இப்போ திருவடி பற்றி பேசினோம். இப்போ திருமுடிக்கு போனால் யாரோ ஒரு பாயிண்ட் சொன்னா இல்லையா, திருமுடியிலேருந்து திருவடி வரைக்கும் சுவாமி தேசிகன் ரெண்டு பெருமாளையும் சொல்லிருக்காருன்னு. அந்த திருமுடி போனா ரெண்டு பேரும் ஆதிசேஷனுக்கு எழுதிருப்பான். இட்ஸ் a very good observation, right? ஸோ ரெண்டு பேருக்கும் ஆதிசேஷனோட இருப்பான். எக்ஸலன்ட். இப்போ திருவடியில என்ன பாயிண்ட் நோட்டீஸ் பண்ணோம், திருமுடியிலையும் ரெண்டு பேருக்கும் காமனா இருக்கும். சரி, வாட் எல்ஸ்? Now it gets little bit more interesting. You have to think harder or deeper. Now these are obvious. இது விக்கிரகத்தை பார்த்து you can share இல்லையா? இப்போ லக்ஷ்மி நரசிம்மன், லக்ஷ்மி ஹயக்ரீவர் விக்கிரகங்கள் ரெண்டு விக்கிரகம் பார்த்தாலே you can spot all the similarities. But there is some more, few more. Can anyone else share any other similarity?
Lakshmi Nrsimhar and Hayagreeva, they both hold Shanga and Chakram.
Right, very good. So they both have நாலு திருக்கை, அதுக்கப்புறம் சதுர்புஜம், அப்புறம் சங்கு சக்கரம். அண்ட் சதுர்புஜம் இதுல நாலு பேரும் சேவை சாதிக்கிறா அதே மாதிரி. வெரி குட், குட் பாயிண்ட்.
எனக்கு இன்னொரு இருக்கு. பெருமாளோட ரைட் ஹேண்ட்ல அபயஹஸ்தம் வச்சிருப்பார், அதுக்கப்புறம் தாயார் வச்சிருக்க கையில வரதஹஸ்தம் வச்சிருப்பார்.
கரெக்ட். ரெண்டு பெருமாளும் அதே மாதிரி தான் இருப்போம். ஆனா சில விக்கிரகங்களை வந்து தாயார் அணைச்சுட்டு இருக்க மாதிரியும் இருக்கும், பட் சில விக்கிரகத்துல அந்த வரதஹஸ்தம் மாதிரியும்.
சில விக்கிரகத்திலயும் கதை இருக்கும்.
கதை, சிலதுல கதை இருக்கும். இப்போ இன்னும் வந்து இந்த காஞ்சிபுரம் போற வழியில இந்த வாலாஜாபாத்னு ஒரு இடம் இருக்கேன். அந்த இடத்துல இந்த பெரிய நரசிம்மர் இருக்காரு, அவர் பேர் எனக்கு டக்குன்னு மறந்து போயிடுது, அந்த இடத்தோட பேரு. அந்த இடத்துல இருக்கிற லக்ஷ்மி நரசிம்மர் அவர் வந்து எல்லா ஆயுதங்களும் வச்சுட்டு இருப்பார். அது பேர் என்ன, நந்தகா, இது கட்கம், கதை, ஷார்ங்கம் எல்லாமே வச்சுட்டு இருப்பாரு அவர்.
அந்த கோவில் வந்து சிங்கப்பெருமாள் கோவிலா?
சிங்கப்பெருமாள் இல்ல, சிங்கப்பெருமாள் மாதிரி. ஆனா இப்போ இன்னொன்னு கட்டவாக்கம் நினைக்கிறேன், கட்டவாக்கம் பெருமாள். அங்க வந்து ஸ்ரீ லக்ஷ்மி நரசிம்மர் இருக்கார், பெரிய லக்ஷ்மி நரசிம்மர். பட் சிங்கப்பெருமாள் கோயில்ல வந்து ஆயுதம் எல்லாம் வச்சுட்டு இருக்க மாட்டார். ரெகுலரா எப்படி தாயார் மடியில பண்ணிட்டு வந்து அபயாஸ்தத்தோட சங்கு சக்கரம் சதுர்புஜத்தோட பெருமாள் இருப்பார். அங்க அந்த கட்டவாக்கம் அப்படின்ற இடத்துல இருக்கிற கோவில்ல வந்து பெருமாள் வந்து ரொம்ப ஒசரமா ஜெய்ஜாண்டிக்கா லக்ஷ்மி நரசிம்மர் இருப்பார் வித் ஆல் த இது. ஸோ எனிவே, ஸோ இதெல்லாம் வந்து சம் ஆஃப் த இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங் சிமிலாரிட்டிஸ். ஒன் அதர் திங் அடியன் அப்சர்வ்ட் இஸ், ரெண்டு பெருமாள் பரகாலமட் ஸ்ரீ இந்த லக்ஷ்மி ஹயக்ரீவரும் நம்ம அஹோபிரமட் ஸ்ரீ மாலோலனும் லக்ஷ்மி நரசிம்மனும் ரெண்டு பேரும் வந்து டோலையில் எழுவான். ரொம்ப விசேஷமா இருக்கும். ஸோ அஃப்கோர்ஸ் கிருஷ்ணர் டோலையில் எழுவார் எல்லா இடத்துலையும். That we all know. கிருஷ்ணர் is even in our homes. எப்பவுமே நம்ம ஒரு சின்ன தொட்டில் கிருஷ்ணர் ஏழை பண்ணியிருப்போம். That is very common. But other than the Krishna, Kutti Krishna, the two Perumals who very interestingly provide sevai in Dolai, Unjal, is Sri Lakshmi Hayagreeva and Sri Lakshmi Nrsimha. Have you noticed that? Is that a similarity? Do you all agree?
I agree.
Yeah. So ரெண்டு பெருமாளும் ரொம்ப விசேஷம். டோலையில பெருமாளை, ஊஞ்சல்ல பெருமாளை சேவிக்கிறதுன்றதே ஒரு பெரிய விசேஷம். அதுலயும் இந்த ரெண்டு பெருமாளும் ஒரே மாதிரி சட்டுன்னு பார்க்கறதுக்கு நமக்கு வந்து கிட்ட போய் பார்த்தாதான் நமக்கு தெரியும், அவ்வளோ சிமிலரா இருக்கும். சில அலங்காரங்கள்லாம் பார்த்தாக்கா அவர் தூரக்கேந்து பார்த்தாங்கன்னா லக்ஷ்மி ஹயக்ரீவரா லக்ஷ்மி நரசிம்மரான்னு நமக்கு டவுட் வர மாதிரி ஒரு அலங்காரம் இருக்கும். அது மாதிரி ஏன்னா ரெண்டு பேரும் அப்படியே ஒரே மாதிரி இருப்பான், சதுர்புஜத்தோட சங்கு சக்கரத்தோட தாயாரோட. அதனால அது ரொம்ப சிமிலாரிட்டி. அதுக்கப்புறம் இன்னொரு இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங் சிமிலாரிட்டி அடியன் ஹஸ் அப்சர்வ்ட் இஸ், ரெண்டு பேரும் ஒரே ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் விஷயத்துக்கோசம், விஷயத்துக்கோசம் தான் அவதாரம் பண்ணும். இங்க லக்ஷ்மி ஹயக்ரீவர் வந்து வேதத்தை காப்பாத்துறதுக்கோசம், பிரம்மாவுக்கோசம், பிரம்மா வந்து கிட்டேருந்து அந்த வேதத்தை வந்து மது கைட்டப்பா எடுத்துன்னு போயிடுறான் இல்லையா. மது கைட்டப்பா ஸ்டீல் த Vedas from Brahma, leaving him completely unable to perform his main kainkariam or his main work or activity as ordered or advised by, commanded by Perumal. Therefore, Brahma is just unable to do anything. Having lost the Vedams, he cannot perform his creation. There is no creativity or creation. So Brahma is just completely stuck. Therefore, he prays to Sakshat Sri Lakshmi Narayana Perumal. அதனால பெருமாள் வந்து ஸ்ரீ லக்ஷ்மி ஹயக்ரீவரா எழுதி அவதாரம் பண்ணி, he vanquishes both Madhu Kaitapa and saves Vedam, not only for posterity forever, but he has taken that only on the single request of Brahma கோசம். ஏன்னா மற்ற இதுலலாம் வந்து இப்போ ராமாவதாரம், கிருஷ்ணாவதாரம், மற்ற அவதாரங்கள்லாம் எல்லாரும் போய், ஆல் தேவாஸ், எவ்ரிபடி வெண்ட் டுகெதர் இன் ஒன் பிக் குரூப், இஃப் யூ கேன் இமேஜின், அண்ட் தென் சரி எல்லாரும் சேர்ந்து விண்ணப்பம் பண்ணா, பெருமாள் கிட்ட ரிக்வஸ்ட் பண்ணிட்டான். அப்போ there is lot of people request, but in this case both Sri Lakshmi Hayagreeva and Lakshmi Narasimha, they took that avataram just for one person. In the case of Sri Lakshmi Hayagreeva, it's just Brahma, but the effect of it is for the entire universe, mankind, or all the jivarasi everlarkum. Ena the purpose was to save the Vedas and bring it back and give it back to Brahma and advise him again about the creation process. Now, in the case of Sri Lakshmi Narasimhan, we all know it is again for one person, one Kuழந்தை, Prahladan. So, இங்க குழந்தை பிரகலாதன் கோசம் ஒரு அந்த குழந்தையோட வார்த்தை பொய்யாக கூடாதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு என்ன சொன்னான் பிரகலாதன்? In response to Hiranyakashipu's demand, where is Sriman Narayana? Where can he be seen? Is he here? Is he there? கேட்கும்போது என்ன சொன்னா பிரகலாதன்? தூணிலும் இருப்பார், துரும்பிலும் இருப்பார். He is everywhere. He is omnipresent. So if you தூண், இந்த தூண் எதிர இருக்கா அதுலயும் இருப்பார், அந்த துரும்பு இருந்தா எங்கேயோ ஒரு சின்ன வஸ்து இருந்தா அதுலயும் இருப்பார். விபு அண்ட் அணு ரெண்டுமே. விபு ஸ்டாண்ட்ஸ் ஃபார் the expanding universe, everything enlarged in any measure. You cannot, it is unfathomable measure. That is Vibhu. Anu means very small, minute, minuscule, infinitesimal. One is infinite, the other is infinitesimal, which is kannukku theriyada atom. So he can exist in big form, as in a tune or pillar, or in a small form, unknown or unbeknown to even the naked eye, in a small atomic format. So anga Prahladan said that, and just to prove that word is true, Perumal vandu தூண்லேந்து வந்தார். So in both cases, Perumal Savataram was for a single request. Orthar in that, the contrast would be, the comparison would be for one person. The benefit is for the entire mankind, or entire all living forms and non-living forms. And the person who made the request, they are at the both ends. Adhaadu orthar vandu Kuழந்தை, Prahladan is a Kuழந்தை, and on the other side he is the Pitamahar, the grandfather of all creation, அப்படினு சொல்லலாம், is Brahma. So in both cases, Perumal took those avatars. So these are some of the very interesting similarities between Sri Lakshmi Hayagreeva and Lakshmi Narasimha. சரி, And obviously we know what the Nrsimha is in the form of a man lion, and Hayagreeva is man horse form. We can see obvious difference. Sure. Okay. Then we'll move on to, I think last time we saw up to Shlokam number 5. Am I right? We are in Shlokam number 6 now. Let me switch the view and share the other screen. 1 second. Okay. Are you all able to see the screen now? Are you able to see the sixth Shlokam? Audience. So let's go ahead and follow the same format we did last time. Who wants to start with this Shlokam? Who wants to read this? Yaar vena. We'll take turns. We'll just go around. Each one can say one Shlokam or read one Shlokam.
अपौरुषैरपि वाक्प्रपञ्चैः अद्यापिते भूतिमदृष्टपारां स्तुवन्नहं मुग्धैति त्वयैव कारुण्यतो नाथ कटाक्षणीयः. Very good.
So in this Shlokam, what is the essence of this Shlokam is quite simply, this is Apaurushaya. Vedam is Apaurushaya. Adhaadu, no one has created or written Vedam. Vedam exists from time immemorial, and no human, Apaurushayam Pravartaki, that is the meaning, that no Purusha, no one has written it down. And one meaning is that, the other meaning is, it was never ever created, it exists from time immemorial, just like Perumal. Perumaloda Moochukathu dhaan Vedam. அதுதான் அந்த வார்த்தையை வச்சு Swami Deshikan has started this slogam. So since Sri Hayagreeva is the Lord of Vedam, Vedamurti, Mantram. So he is Apaurushaya and the Shlogatla, and his Swarupam is Ananta Kalyana Guna Swarupam, encompasses or includes all the gunams, divya gunams. So we saw in the first class the meaning of Bhagavan on the Jnana, Bala, Aishwarya, Viryam, Shakti, Tejas. Yeah, those are the 6 primary Kalyana gunams. So infinite Jnanam, that is Hayagreeva Murti. So in this case, Perumal has the infinite, the magnitude of his avataram is infinite, just as Vedam. So just like Vedam, how it is not created by one person, and it is boundless, limitless, and exists, and it all talks about or sings about the praise of Perumal. In this case, the Perumal in the form of Lord Hayagreeva. Swami Deshikan is saying, Adiyan is also singing your praise, even though I don't know anything. He says he brings himself to the level. This is where, just like the similarities we saw between the 2 forms of 2 avatarams, Lakshmi Hayagreevan and Lakshmi Nrsimhan, we can say here the similarities in terms of Perumal and Swami Deshikan also here. One view is Swami Deshikan is none other than a form of Venkatanatha, Venkatesha Perumal, avaroda Ganta avataram thane. So he is also Perumal only in that sense. And you can see he is coming down to our level, just like how Perumal comes down to our level. We talk about the Gunam Shaulabhyam, which is a combination of Saushilyam and Vatsalyam. So Shaulabhyam means the ability to be easily approached or approachable, because it, besides the jnanam, balam, aishwaryam, viryam, shakti, tejas, those primary kalyana gunams, the shaulabhyam is what gets all the devotees, all the bhaktas, bhagavatas closer to Perumal. Because the shaulabhyam, the ability of the Perumal to bring himself down and mix with all of us in spite of our level, and he is at such a high level, we are at such a low level. Perumal freely comes to our level to help us. And the Shaulabhyam and Vatsalyam, Shaushilyam and Vatsalyam. Vatsalyam is the infinite kind mercy for us. In spite of all our mistakes we perform or we do commit, whether knowingly or unknowingly, Perumal is ready to give his Divya Kataksha to all of us equally, in equal measure. No what you call discrimination or favoring one over the other. All of us, whether you are a child or the old person, young, old, in any form, any way, we are different. It doesn't matter to Perumal. He treats all of us the same way. So Perumal வந்து எல்லாருக்கும் அவரோட சௌலபியத்தினால he is able to get to our level and bless us and give us whatever we ask directly or even without asking indirectly. He ensures that we are getting his grace and protection. So Swami Desikan here says the Vedam being Apaurushyam, not written down or created by anyone other than just being a Muchukarthu or the divine breath of Perumal. It has boundless, limitless knowledge, information, and it sings about the praise of all that boundless qualities, Divya Kalyana Guna qualities of Perumal. And again, in spite of my own limits, I am trying to, without knowing, I am trying to sing your praise just like Vedams are singing. And please grace me with your benevolence or mercy. That is the essence of this shloka. So here Swami Desikan, in his characteristic inimitable style, he brings out the vastness of the Vedam. He brings out the comparison of just as the vast Vedam, the vast mercy and kindness of Perumal, and also brings about his own inability or feeling that he himself can sing the praise of Perumal just like Vedam as an attempt. And then he is asking for Perumal's grace. But in truth, Swami Desikan is not someone who doesn't know anything, even though he says that here. It is just as a reference because he is very humble. So he is showing us how humble we should be in our lives so that we can get that divine grace of Tayar and Perumal. So that is one explanation for this. Let's move on to the next one. Dakshinya Ramya. So who wants to take this one up?
Can I say?
நான் வந்து சேர்க்கலாமா?
Say it.
दाक्षिण्य रम्य गिरिशस्य मूर्तिः देवी सरोजासन धर्मपत्नी यासादयोपि व्यपदेश्य वाचः स्फुरन्ति सर्वे तव शक्तिलेशैः.
Very good. So here he begins the shlokam with the Dakshinya Ramya Girishasya Murtihi. The reference here is to Girishan, Dakshinya, Dakshinamurti, or the Lord who is facing the south direction, the Devata of the south. So Dakshinya Ramya Girishasya Murti referred to Dakshinamurti or Rudran or Shivan. Then the next one, Devi Sarojasana Dharmapatni. So Saroja Asanam. Saroja Asanam, the lotus, the divine lotus la irukra and Brahma oda Dharmapatni, reference to Saraswati Devi. So the second line, Devi Sarojasana Dharmapatni. Vyasadayo api Vyapadeshya Vachaha. So Vyasadayo api. Vyasar, like the great Vyasar, right? He's one of the greatest of the Purana. He composed the greatest of the Puranas, so or epics. So of the likes of Vyasa and Sfuranti Sarve Tava Shakti Leshe. What he refers there is all those great devatas and Dharmapatni, Saraswati Devi, who is considered the goddess of learning by most of people, and Vyasar, who is the greatest of the writers, composers of the great epic. All these have achieved their greatness by a very short measure of blessing from you. Just a little bit of your grace and mercy and your kindness and your anugraham. It is just that spark from one. If you imagine a huge fire, and from that fire there is a small spark. From the sun there is one small spark. In that sense, with just that spark of your grace, Dakshinamurti, that is Shivan, Sarojasana Dharmapatni Devi, like Saraswati Devi and Vyasa, they all have achieved greatness, and they can become great in their considered area of expertise, which is Shivan is often worshipped for knowledge, and also similarly Saraswati Devi and also Vyasa. So all of them, where do they get the knowledge from? It is none other than you, Hayagreeva. From you only they get all the knowledge. Therefore, and that too a little spark of your grace and your blessing, they get all that power, Shakti, Tava Shakti Leshe. So their Vak Shakti is your Anugraham, Tava Shakti Leshe. A minute Anugraham from you makes them great. So in the same way, I request you to bless me as well, is the essence of this shloka. Okay. So here the reference is Lord Hayagreeva. Perumal Vandu is the infinite knowledge. Jnana Anandamayam, first shlokathli aarambichirrar illaya. So he is nothing but Jnana Anandamayam. Jnanam and Anandam. Divine knowledge, all the knowledge there is to 64 kalais. ஆயக்கலைகள் 64 அப்படின்னு தமிழ்ல ஒரு பழமொழி ஒரு இது இருக்கு வச்சனம். அந்த மாதிரி 64 கலைஸ். He has the infinite grasp of all those colors. There is nothing beyond Perumal. Therefore, all that knowledge one can be able to achieve just by simply praying to Sri Lakshmi Hayagreeva. So Hayagreeva can provide all that, just as he provided the same thing, the grace and the knowledge to all the three that is referred here. That is the essence of this sloka. Let's move to the next one. Who wants to take the next slokam here? Mando Bhavishyam.
बंधो भविष्य नियतं विरिञ्चो वाचां निधेवञ्चित भागधेयः दैत्यापनीतान् दयैव भूयोऽपि अद्य भविष्य निगमानचेत्त्वम्.
Very good. So in this shlokam, Manda apavishyat niyatam virinchoho vachamnide vanjita bhagadeya daitya apanitan dayaya eva bhuya abhi. That's how you split it. Adhyabhayishyo nigama na chetvam. Here what Swami Desikan brings out is, you are the house, you have the treasure house of all the knowledge. There is nothing beyond you. Everything in Vedam and everything that has been ever mentioned in the Vedam is all about you. And you being that, they stole your Vedams from Brahma. Brahma vandu koncham, when he was not careful or cautious, the Madhu and Kaitapa Asuras, the Asuras stole that Vedam from you. But you, on the other hand, did not get too upset or mad. Instead, what Perumal did, he did not go out just like Lakshmi Narasimhan in a big angry form to attack, just like he did Hiranyakashipu, because there Perumal got so mad because Hiranyakashipu was attacking a small child. Therefore, Perumal got completely upset about Hiranyakashipu. So he took that very fearsome form. But in the case of Madhu Kaitapa, they stole Vedas, even though that is wrong. The person responsible for Vedas, Brahma, he let go. So there is a little bit of that involved. And therefore, in order to teach Brahma, so Perumal took that avataram to get the Vedas back. But in this case, he didn't get that mad. He took the form of a nice white horse. But then the effect though is the same. He, with his neighing or on the horse, Budra Kanakara and the Shabdam, Halahalaha Shabdam that we saw in the second and fourth slokam. And the Alahala Shabdam Viche, he was able to get the Vedas back. He was able to defeat Madhu and Kaitapa just like that with the mere sound. So they stole the sound form, which is Vedas. And what did Perumal do? எதாவா திருடினாலும் அதே சப்தத்தை வச்சு, சப்தத்தை தானே அவ திருடினா, அந்த சப்தத்தை வச்சு அவளை he conquered them, and to show to them that you cannot do that. But he did it in a gentler, kinder way in some sense, unlike the fearsome form he took as Nirhari. But he got all that by his mercy. So he was merciful, and he got back all the Vedams and returned it promptly to Brahma, and re-advised Brahma one more time to make sure Brahma can continue with his creation activity. Otherwise, if Perumal had not done that, who else could have saved? Nobody could have saved. So it is due to Perumal, Lakshmi Hayagreeva, that not only did Brahma get back the divine Vedas, the entire humanity, the entire universe got back the Vedas again. So that's what is being brought out in this beautiful shloka. Otherwise, he just imagines Adhyapayishyo Nikaman Nachetvam. If you have not done it, what would have happened to the plight of Brahma? Brahma would have forever been without any knowledge. Abhindrada Swami Deshikan brings out nicely, interestingly in this shloka. Okay, we'll move to the next one, Vitarka Dola. Are you all able to follow the explanation? Are you finding it clear? Okay. All right. Let's move forward with the next slokam, Vitarka Dola. Who wants to take this? Yeah, please.
Can I say?
Yes, go ahead.
वितर्कडोलां व्यवधूय सत्त्वे बृहस्पतिं वर्तयेते यतस्त्वं तेनेव देव तडितेश्वराणाम् अस्पृष्टदोलायितमादिराज्यम्.
Okay, this is again an interesting, very interesting slokam. Here you see Swami Deshikan bringing out his poetic genius. So Dola, the word Dola is brought out in the slokam. Vitarka Dolam Vyavaduya Sattve. So how Vitarka is, Vitarkam here means doubt. Okay, so due to the doubt that we all have, right? Sometimes our mind is not steady, our knowledge is not absolutely steady. We get doubts time and again. Therefore, we are unable to maintain a steady state. However, unlike the doubts one has and get into a tangle because of the doubts, Perumal ensures that that kind of doubt, hesitancy or doubt does not come to the devotees who worship him. Hayagreeva will not allow that to happen. So when you worship Hayagreeva Perumal, he will remove all our doubts. He will make us steady, strong, very confident. Just like how Perumal helped Brihaspati, he brings out a situation where Perumal helped the main priest. Brihaspati thane ella devarkum priest. So he helped Brihaspati to set right the correct path for all the devas, starting from Indra. It is Brihaspati who is ensuring they don't go aside from what they are supposed to do. So without losing their mind on things, Brihaspati ensures the devas perform their tasks correctly as ordered by or as commanded by Perumal. So Perumal had ensured that through Brihaspati. In the same way, Swami Desikan here says, people's mind get shaken, just like a dola shakes. People's mind also gets shaken if they don't have correct knowledge. So the incorrect knowledge causes confusion and shakiness in the minds of people. Whether it is Devalokam, ruled by Indra, or Manusha Lokam, ruled by human beings, it's the same effect. Unless one has proper knowledge and the correct knowledge, one becomes shaky at some point in their lives. So it is Perumal who ensures it, just like he did it through Brihaspati. Swami Desikan is saying, referencing that, and says, help all of us in this world. Asprishta Dolaitam Adirajyam. It is you in Dolai who will sit and then create that steadiness for all of us. This is where I was referring to the similarities between Lakshmi Hayagreevan and Lakshmi Narasimhan. Of course, Krishna, they sit on the Dolai, and this is why worshipping Perumal in the Dolai form is very, very, very great, because it brings out this tattvam, which is the Dolai. When the swing swings, it is an allegory or a reference to how our minds swing on seeing different things, right? We are always going hither and thither, unable to steady ourselves. So in order for us to steady, for the Dolai to be steady, we need somebody. Otherwise the swing keeps moving around in the air, right? Or when a strong wind blows, we in a similar way, when some strong event happens, we get shaky. For us to be in a steady state, we need to have the right knowledge and also the divine mercy or the grace of Perumal. So he sits on the Dolai and then ensures the Dolai is steady. Just the same way he ensures, Perumal ensures, whether it is Lakshmi Narasimhan or Lakshmi Hayagreevan in the Dolai, he sits in our heart and our minds and then helps steady us and then lead us towards our samsaric life, which is fraught with a lot of shakiness. So Perumal is the only solution that we have to go through whenever we face some tough situations in life, or even when we are happy, because that shakiness happens in both good times and bad times, not always in bad times. Even when you're overexcited, we become shaky, right? We don't have control over ourselves. We get too far on this side or too far on that side. But it is with Perumal's grace, Tayar and Perumal's grace, we can maintain that steady state. That is what is brought out in this Vitarka Dolam, and a direct reference to Dolai here, this Stothram. Okay, let's cover one more slokam. It's coming up to 6. So perhaps we'll cover one more slokam and then stop and then take up the additional slokams next time after this. Who wants to take up the next one? Agnav. Samita.
Nasalal Nama.
अग्नौ समिर्धार्क्षिसि सप्ततन्तोः आतस्तिवान् मन्त्रमयं शरीरम् अखण्डचारेर्हविषां प्रदानैः आप्यायनं व्योम सदां विदत्से.
Right. So in this Samit, it is again a very interesting, full of this Hayagreeva Stothram is full of references, allegory, and it brings out the beautiful poetic greatness of Kavitarkika Simham. Okay, so here he is talking about the Samit. Agno Samidat Archishi Saptathanto. Here what it references to is just like how the Samit, when you put it in Agni during our Homam, you do Samitadhanam, right? Most of the boys here, you all do Samitadhanam, right? In that what you do, Havisla, you give Dhanam, the Samita Dharma Kudukram. Appo Agni la, and when you recite or chant the mantrams, and then you put that, it becomes the food for the Devata. Since we directly refer to the Veda Purushan or Perumal himself, when we do Samit, it goes to Perumal. From the form of Agni, it goes to Perumal. So these, we also use the Anna Shuddhi, the Nei from cows, right? That purifies it. So in the Samita வந்து நெய்ல சேர்த்து அதுக்கப்புறம் அக்னியில சேர்க்கிறோம் as part of our Samitadhanam or any other homam for that matter. So the jwala of the Agni, it takes that Samit and then takes it directly to Perumal. All the Havis mantrams that you say, all the mantrams and Devatas names that you say as part of any homam, it doesn't matter Samitadhanam, if you're doing direct homam in for Perumal or any other homam done for other Devatas also, like Navagraha homam, other homam, all those things. One should understand one important thing here. It goes only to Mahavishnu, Perumal. No other Devata, actually. All these Devas, whatever the name, starting with Agni, who directly takes that thing that is offered in the homam, whether it is the simple Samit that is dipped in the Nei, or it is Chakra Pongal, or any other prasadam, it all goes first and foremost to Perumal. Only then the other Devatas will get that from the Perumal's prasadam, they get a share. It never goes in any homam you do, it doesn't go to that concerned Devata. It is given to that Devata to be taken to Perumal. That is the important part. So when somebody says, I am doing that homam, this homam, several other names they have, it never goes to that particular Devata, even though that Devata is being mentioned in the mantrams. It is done to ensure that Devata takes that Havis or the offerings made in that Havis and take it directly to Perumal. So that Devata has the responsibility to take it. So in the same way, Agni here takes all the Samit and then gives it to Perumal. It is said Agni has 7 tongues. Sabda, just like there are 7 notes, 7 swaras, Sabda swaras. Agni has 7 tongues and each one has a name also. Agni takes all the Havis offerings and then takes it to Perumal. And with the divine nature of that prasadam, it creates the good feeling in all the Devatas and makes them happy. Not because they are offered it, it is because they have the opportunity to fulfill Perumal's commands. In that, the offerings made in the Havis is taken and given to Perumal, and the prasadam comes back and makes all these devatas happy so that they get the prasadam and can go and perform whatever as commanded by Perumal. That is the essence of this stotram. Apyayanam Vyoma Sadam Vidaste. So it talks about how they are all made happy by the offerings we make in the Havis. So it's up to 6 now. 10 slokams have been completed. With that, again will stop and then just open up for 2 minutes to any questions or any comments from any of you. And then we will close this session today. Again. So any questions? How did you find today's session? Were you all able to understand the meaning of the stotrams?
அடியன் புரியுது எல்லா மீனிங் அர்த்தத்துல.
Very good. So next time when you are reading through or reciting these stotrams, you also have in your head at least some meanings of this you will remember, and that will ensure you are able to appreciate or enjoy this stotram. It is always a good thing along with any desika stotram, whether it is the stotramala, any of the 28 stotrams or desika prabandhams. It is always a great experience to understand it with meaning, because that brings out all the various important points about our sampradayam that Swami Desikan had put it in his slokams and then start. So just by looking at the meanings or understanding the meanings of Swami Desikan's stotrams, starting with the Hayagreeva stotram and all the others, you can simply learn our entire sampradayam with all the meanings and the deeper meanings, whether it is at a higher level or at a deeper level. You can go to any level you want just by understanding the meanings of all these stotrams. So anytime you have spare time, that is one thing you can do. You can go and take up any one pasuram or Sri Sukti, any one slokam of Swami Desikan, and just try to find the meaning of it. And you not only will you able to enjoy the stotram or slokam, but you will also understand the deeper meanings behind that, and that will make you very happy. And you can also enjoy our sampradayam much more and be able to, when you worship Perumal, you will now be able to do it with much more interest. That's the whole idea. So your Kainkariam will be much more blessed experience. Okay, with that, again we'll stop. We will recite our Taniyans and then we will wrap up the session today. That's it. Shri Ranganada Shatakopayatindra Drashtam Lakshmi Narasimha Sharjit Karnaika Patram Shri Rangavira Raghurat Shatakoparityam Vedanta Desigedin Maham Prapatye Srimad Ranga Shatari Samyamivaral Abdagamantadvim Srimad Veer Raghutvahate Sharjit Padaravinda Shrim Srimad Vedavatam Sadesigayade Karunyo Ichaspadam Seve Rangadurina Sasanamasham Narayanam Yoginam Vedanta Desigedindra Gadachalapta Trayan Dasaram Anavadigunam Dakrem Narayanatheti Duri Kripa Vishuktam Shri Ranganadeti Sekarmashyamaha Srimate Shriman Shadagopa Shri Vedanta Desigedindra Mahadeshigaya Namaha Srimate Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha Paduka Sevaka Shriman Shadagopa Shri Narayanatindra Mahadeshigaya Namaha Srimate Shriman Shadagopa Shri Ranganathetindra Mahadeshigaya Namaha. Adiyandasa.
Hariyin Mama Danyosmi Keshwaya Namaha.
Adiyandasa.